Coach, just got a text from Paula in Greenfield wanting to congratulate you on the huge win over Memphis.
Well, great. I thank you, Paul. I certainly appreciate it.
We were talking during the game, especially during the delay, when we kind of all felt that we could get the momentum, and we had Director of Athletics Phil Dane on, and Paul Tinkle was on with us, and John Abel, and Tom Brett. We were just trying to kill two or three hours. Where if we were to win this game, it would rank in the context of wins in the program's history. And most of all of us said it would definitely be one of the biggest wins ever. I kind of mentioned a Tangerine Bowl game a long time ago, but where does it rank for you in UT Martin history, and then as your tenure as a coach?
Right. Well, I mean, it is special. It is because it's a first for us. First time our UT Martin's been an FBS program, and it'll be talked about for a long time. I certainly hope it is, but it doesn't really have any bearing on the playoffs for us. I mean, does it? That win is not supposed to count anymore, or a loss isn't even supposed to count anymore, as you get your FCS wins in order to get into the playoffs. So, I don't know, maybe you just treat it kind of like a bowl game, and it's special and it's great, but it's not one of your big rival games. It's not one of your conference games. But it is special, no doubt about it. But, those wins, the win over EKU, the first time ever, the wins over Murray, 5 of the last 6 years, the conference championship, at Murray, the EIU game at home in '06. I mean, those, I don't know how you can rank them any higher than any, but probably from a national stage, it certainly did, have a little bit more credibility than some of them.
What you do get out of this is a lot more national attention, as you said, from the media. I've got to believe, especially in the Memphis area where you recruit heavily, you kind of put a stamp on that.
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, now, of course, no matter what, we don't have that stadium, and we don't have that, that indoor facility and things like that. But, just come take a look at us, though. Come meet the people. Come see the campus. That's all we can ask for. So maybe we do get a couple more looks, and, we're realistic about, about some things. But, that's, we want to continue to develop our, our personality. And that's when it comes to, playing games and, anybody, anywhere, anytime. And so we finally lived up to that and got us a big win on the road.
You've kind of been building up to this, too. I mean, we played Tennessee, we played Auburn. Our players are getting used to being in that kind of situation.
Well, they are, and that's one of the things we talked about with our younger players today is that, like tonight, we got practice here in a little while, and then at the end of that practice, everybody who didn't play in this game Saturday night or is being redshirted, didn't travel, we'll go full pads, and we'll have a little scrimmage tonight. It's important for us to develop those young guys and not just put them on, just wait till the spring. That's not how you continue to grow your program. And, that's one of the things I brought up is that, hey, you didn't get to play in this one, but you're going to get to play against Boise State next year. You're going to get to play against, Kentucky the next year and Ole Miss the next year. This is a process, because I'm watching DJ McNeil and Fred Flanor on tape and stuff, and I remember these guys as freshmen a couple of years ago, not finishing runs and not being when they're supposed to be on special teams and stuff. It's a process. You can't just you can't replace the experience, and when you've got enough good players with experience, you got a chance.
And that's the great thing it has to be for you with coaching. If you get a player who really is motivated and wants to be better, and a coach who knows what they're doing and can make you better and motivate you, it all comes together, and they get better between their freshman and sophomore, then sophomore and junior, then junior and senior year, and in their senior year, they're the best player they can be.
Well, it is, and I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of good staff chemistry that we have in our building right now. Very, that's one of the things. I've been doing this now for, I've been saying 15 years, but it's 17 years now, and so I've been cheating myself out of a couple of years there. But when I watch our coaches coach, and it's not just coaching steps and coaching the X and O's. It's kind of coaching guys how to be grown men, how to be responsible, and that just plays so much into college football. I mean, just we all got guys that can run, and we all got guys that can make plays and things like that. But will they do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it? How many distractions? We talked about last week. One of the big things that we want to do the week before school started was kind of remove the clutter, from our players' lives. Little things like getting your books for class, getting your parking decal, just get your tickets situated, before, everybody starts calling you next week for tickets. And those are things that you take for granted, and we're not 100% on those things, but if you can start eliminating some of those things of your players' lives and let them concentrate on their workouts, concentrate on school, and then concentrate on practice, you got a chance maybe on Saturday.
It's funny you say that because I like the show on HBO, Hard Knocks, and I don't know if you've watched it, where HBO follows an NFL team during preseason camp, and they've got the Miami Dolphins on this year, and Chad Ochocinco is a distraction for them. But those coaches on the field during a practice, they're just like you. There's no different, really. I mean, they're paying attention to the little details and just trying to get their players focused and make them the best player they can be.
And the running back coach, speaking of Miami Dolphins, Jeff Nixon, he and I worked together at UT Chattanooga, and he texted me yesterday and said congratulations, and he's a running back coach for Miami Dolphins. But same thing, just more expensive problems because of the type of money that the type of money that they make.
Coach, let's talk about some of the individual performances from the Memphis game, and again, your senior players for the first time. Derek Carr, 19 of 38, did throw 2 interceptions. To me, he's typical Derek Carr. Boy, when he really got in the flow there at one point in the game, he was fantastic.
Well, a couple of things I want to commend Derek on. The one interception that the safety made was outstanding play. The corner blitz and the safety spun from the opposite hash, and it was a great play. I mean, I didn't see the safety. He kind of came out of nowhere. The other one, Kevin Barfield, slot receiver, we tried to stick a little slant on him. Kevin's not the biggest guy, and the ball kind of ricocheted off his hand. So it wasn't a misread. It just, and like I said, I don't think we called a great game for Derek. There's a lot of times he was getting into better plays than what we were calling because of the lack of game planning, not knowing that you were going to see. So those are things that are immeasurable that a fifth-year senior quarterback they can do for their football team, which nobody knows but he and I. And so very, very proud of him. And it's just a joy to coach him right now because he just sees things. And, even though it's 19 of 30?
38.
38, there's 4 balls that he throws away that, that he doesn't take sacks on. We come out of that game giving up no sacks, which last year we only gave up 5. And other quarterbacks are going to be trying to make other things happen and stepping up in the pocket too long. He just throws it away, moves on to the next play, doesn't really care about the stats. Sure, he'd love to throw for 300. Sure, he'd love to complete every pass, but he understands what his job is, and so very proud of him.
One of the callers to a Memphis station earlier today was talking about that UT Martin quarterback who pulled out his iPad and played Angry Birds. He had so much time. How did our old offensive line do?
They did outstanding. Very proud of them. Like I said, there was a couple times. Now, they were only rushing 3, and that's why the coverages were so difficult to complete balls. You rush 3 and you drop 8. There's not a whole lot of – you got to have the perfect call for to be able to find the zone to set the ball in there. But they played very well. We had 2 guys getting their first start. Our guard, Michael Bryan at right guard, and John Johnson at left guard. And there's some things we can clean up. But overall, the biggest thing, they've got some confidence about themselves. They really believe in Mac Bryan, their coach. And if you notice several times how we were pushing the pile, our running backs were making yards after contact, and then you would see those big guys running and push the pile. There's a certain mindset that they have that, they're not going to let people outwork them. They're not going to let people be tougher than them. Another team may be faster, may be stronger, may be bigger, but the things that they can control, which is their toughness and their intelligence, they take a lot of pride in that.
Quentin Sims catches the football 8 times for 70 yards and a touchdown. And, Coach, he had a good game statistically, but, I think he's even better than he played against Memphis.
Well, he is, and we played him too many plays. We did. Coach Felix and I were talking about that before I came over. I mean, I think he played every play on offense, and then he played like 15 plays on special teams. So he played 91 plays in the game. He's that valuable to us because of his size and his intelligence. And I think that played a part of having the 3 drops. I do. He had 3 drops, and you can give 1-4 probably on a freeze play where they jumped off sides and we threw it up to him, and the DB wrestled it away from him. We've got to figure out a way to get some more receivers in the game because I think maybe he makes those catches because 90 plays is a lot of plays.
In running the football, McNair with 15 carries in the big run. Tevin Barksdale had 11. DJ McNeil had 10 carries.
I was laughing about that today. Somebody asked me about our running back by committee and stuff, and will somebody get upset because somebody gets carries or they get complacent and stuff? But DJ McNeil won't let them get complacent, and that's what's really unique about DJ is that DJ practices hard every day. He runs hard every day. He trains hard. And he just waits for Jason to have a bad practice because he won't allow him.
Which pushes Jason?
Oh, no question. And that's kind of the neat thing. And Tevin's very talented. And I thought he ran the ball real hard. There's a couple of those runs that he makes that maybe the other 2 backs can't make. But DJ makes a lot of runs just based on sheer toughness and will.
To me, watching this, and I mentioned this on Saturday night, and I'll compare it to baseball, it's almost like creating a batting order. Offensively, you've got to have a feel for who needs the ball when, and when they're in a rhythm, keep giving them the ball. I think you're very good at that.
Well, I appreciate that. And there's some, there's some games more than others that, based on the defense, you can kind of know who's going to get the balls and stuff. The other night, really didn't know that, but DJ's the guy we want to get the ball in short yardage. Tevin's kind of the all-around back. Jason's the guy that we like to get in open space with the ball. But I am very proud of his. He took a lot of pride in finishing some runs the other night, getting off the sideline and fighting for an extra couple of yards and stuff. And when you're only going to get to carry the ball 10 times, 12 times, you're fighting for every yard you can get.
Best thing about that, though, Coach, is that you have three people who present three different things. It's like having a chessboard and utilizing all the pieces to do different things.
Well, we hope so. And I don't know if anybody prepares for us any different because of that, because we don't necessarily call a whole lot of different plays. Now, we do like to get Jason out of the backfield a little bit more and stuff, but the thing about it is you're going to have three backs to make it through the season, and probably going to end up having to have four, and that's a luxury that I hope we maintain throughout the year.
Defensively, the name we called so much early was Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was everywhere early in that game.
Well, he did, and the position he plays, you're going to call it the whole year. I mean, he's at a kind of a rover, type position. He gets to drop into coverage. He gets to rush. He's, as we say, the unblocked hitter, in the box based on how our structure is conformed. And that's a very natural position for Ben. I was very proud of it. The next guy, and you're probably going to bring it up, but I will before you get to it, is, DJ Roberts. I think he's the National Defensive Player of the Year.
That's right.
Of the week. 9 tackles, a sack, tackle for loss or something. And actually, there's one play that he jumps over the cut of a defensive lineman and then, hits the quarterback right in the face. And he doesn't get a credit for a tackle or anything, just such an athletic move. But, he plays so hard. I'm so proud of him because he really brings us some, some toughness and some just some tenacity in that defensive line.
He's a junior.
Well, he is. He was one of those guys who redshirted. Probably could have played early, but we bit the bullet and redshirted him. And very proud of Chris Wright. You see Chris Wright on that stat sheet had 9 tackles. And I was talking to Chris's dad last night. He called, and Chris last year was kind of an afterthought at linebacker. I mean, he was very deep on the depth chart. Just didn't play, didn't pick up our defensive scheme last year, and then just could not. He was always 2 steps behind the block. And this defense is a little bit similar to what he played in junior college, the type of scheme, and now his reads are faster, he plays faster, and we're very happy for Chris Wright.
Wow, that's neat. That's the right fit.
Well, it is, and it's just like I said, he last year I bet he played 3 plays a game, and I think Fred Fenor had 9 tackles as well. Very, very proud of Fred. Fred's a guy that had to play early in his career, needed a redshirt year, but we couldn't afford to give him one. He's learning how to play that safety position, but for him to go home in front of his family and friends and have a big game, I'm very excited for it.
So much was made in the preseason of Montori Hughes, and we even talked to scouts at the game to see how he matched up against Memphis. He didn't have a lot of tackles in the game, but overall, how did Montori play?
He played very well. He played very well. He can play better, but he's very disruptive, eats up blocks. That's why DJ and Ison and those guys get single blocks, and trying to keep him as fresh as we can. But what I like about it is he still complains about it, and that's great because he wants more playing time and he wants to be in there for all those plays. But no, he did well. And the thing I've been talking about for weeks is one thing I'm proud of him for is his attitude and being a team guy and putting the team first and caring about his teammates. And if he'll continue to do that, then I definitely think he'll have an opportunity to play at the next level.
Final player, Cody Sandlin, wins the Special Teams Player of the Week. He kicked the field goal that won the game. The neatest part about that is that he had struggled, as we said earlier in the game.
Yes.
I mean, this was redemption. He made it when it mattered.
Well, I mean, that was 43-yarder, 42-yarder. I mean, that's no short kick now, and that was pressure. So I'm very proud of and that's one thing about Cody. He doesn't care if he's kicking in the Super Bowl or kicking, in the backyard of his grandparents' house. I mean, he always thinks he can make it, and we admire that about him. And we're frustrated when he does not, and he's frustrated with himself. So, the guy made all conference last year, so we expect him to make every kick. But that was clutch, and I'm proud of that unit.
We threw out some individual players. Any other names you want to throw out there that maybe we didn't mention? And because so much, I look at the box scores and see the stat sheet, but you're going to know players that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Well, there were some neat things that happened, like Bobby Ellis, who walked on our program a couple years ago. from Dyersburg. And Bobby's, probably 5'7", 5'8", 5'7" on a good day. 200 pounds. He's one of the strongest players on our team. He starts at fullback for us. I think he played 23, 24 plays. He graded out of winter like 22 of the 24 plays. That was a guy that, like I said, 2 or 3 years ago, nobody knew about that. Now he's starting. Ben Everett, our senior tight end, lined up at tight end, lined up at fullback, and he's just kind of he's very versatile for us and kind of keeps our offense together. Thad Williams returned to corner, played I think every snap on defense. He's coming off 2 years in a row of knee surgery. So this was his first game since the Southeast Louisiana game in 2010. So to get him back and play, and thought Taino Perez, our other corner, played outstanding as a sophomore. It's good to have him back. There's a lot of guys that contributed. Our punter was his first time game. Satterfield came off with 2 good punts.
Looked pretty good.
Didn't play as many guys on offense as we had hoped to. I think overall we probably played like 55 guys. So, as we talked about this week, guys, if you want to play more, you better practice better, and we'll get you in the games.
Okay, we'll take a break. Our final break here. Skyhawk Talk continues live from the studios of WCMT tonight, and more coming up on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network.